Hi guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my time. You're welcome back to my channel. You're welcome back to our channel. So today this is the beautiful wrap top with belts that we're going to be creating today. Unlike me, I would have made a photo shoot for this top, but I just have to quickly edit because I've had this video in my gallery for a while and I need to quickly edit and give it to you guys. Okay, so this is the beautiful wrap top we're going to be making with puff sleeves. I would have liked this sleeves longer, but I was running short of fabric and I just have to make do what I have. So this is a beautiful wrap top with a skirt. If you would like to know how I made this skirt, let me know in the comment section and I'm going to be making a video of it as soon as possible. So guys, if this is something that you want to learn, just stick through and keep on watching. Remember to subscribe, like and share and comment your thoughts.
Hi
Thank
guys, so welcome back to
you.
my channel. And today this is the fabric we're going to be using for this dress. We have our thread, we have our scissors, we have our curve ruler, we have our tapes. I wasn't able to get this color bias, so I'm going to be making use of what I have, which is this. Then I had to thank God I actually have this remaining rubber band. This is what we're going to be using for our puff sleeves. We're going to be using it for our puff sleeves. So and we also have our chalk. So let's get straight into cutting this this top. So first off, this fabric is less than 1.5 yards, so I'm not actually big on fabric right now, but I'm actually going to be making do of what I have. So I even cut some of it out, so but I'm going to be making this work. So first off, we're going to start off by cutting the back of the dress. This is the measurement that we're going to be needing to make this dress. So I don't actually do round divided by 4. I'm actually going to be making a detailed video on how I draft my bodice when I'm making the bodice. If you'd like to see that video, let me know down in the comment section. So I'm just going to be making on the surface explanation for you guys to see how I'm going to be making this dress. So my back is 16 inches divided by 2, 16 inches plus. I'm going to be using 2 inches ease because this is not actually a tight fitting dress. I'm going to be using 2 inches ease, so that is 18 inches. So divided by 2, that is 9. Then I'm going to be adding 1 inch sewing allowance. Sorry, I didn't write down there. So that is 1 inch sewing allowance. So I'm going to be using 10 for my back. Then for my front is actually 22 inches plus 2 inches sewing allowance. That's 2 inches ease, that is 24, divided by 2, that is 12. I'm actually going to be adding 1 inch sewing allowance, that is 13 inches for my front. My shoulder is 16 divided by 2, that is 8, plus 2 inches sewing allowance, that is 10. Sorry, I went to write 20 here. So the length of this dress is actually 19 inches plus 1 inches for to hem the bottom of the dress. That is 20 inches in total. Then my armhole is 18 inches divided by 2, that is 9. Then 2 inches for ease and sewing allowance included, that is 11 inches. Then my sleeves is 12 inches length. Then my waist is 30 divided by 4, that is 7.5. I'm going to be adding 2 inches ease, that is 9.5. Then plus 1 inches for sewing allowance, that will be 10.5. My bust point is actually 10. So guys, I'm actually going to be indicating this just as we go ahead in the video. I'm sorry if you're not able to see before, so I'm actually dimming my camera so that you guys can actually see the way I wrote down these measurements. So hope you guys have taken that down. So let's continue with the video. This is the back of the dress. So for the back of the dress, I'm going to be making it 10 inches. So I have 10 inches. There's no light now, so I'm going to be very careful the way I'm going to be cutting so I don't make a mistake. So when there's light, I'll iron properly and actually get the exact sizes just like I indicated. So I'm not going to be too stringent with my cotton because I have not actually ironed this fabric. So I'm just going to be using this like so. I actually wanted to cut them, but I'm actually going to be leaving it like so in case of when I iron it is not enough or is even excess. We're going to be taking it out from our sewing allowance. So the length of the dress is 20. I'm adding 1 inch for my hem line. 19 is the actual length of the dress. Then 10 inches is actually the total box of the dress. So my shoulder is 16 divided by 2, that is 8. So I have 8 here. So I've actually taken that down 20 inches. So my shoulder is 8 inches plus 2-inch sewing allowance, that is 10. So I'm going to be taking it like so. I'm going to be coming down. My armhole is 9 inch plus 2-inch sewing allowance, that is sewing allowance, that is 1 inch at the shoulder, which we're going to be using to hem the dress, and 1 inch we're going to be using to also join the armhole. So that is why I have 11 inches. So I'm not going to take that down yet. So for our slants, I'm going to be coming down first by 1 inch, then I'm going to cut that out first of all. This fabric is actually very light, so I'm being very careful so as not to make a mistake. So I've actually gotten my slants, so now I can actually cut my armhole. So armhole is 9, so minus 1 inch we're going to be using to hold the dress, and 1 inch we're going to be using it here. So I'm going to be cutting 11. Then I'm going to be drawing down a straight line like so. Okay, so guys, I'm actually very sorry I had to come up again by 2 inches because the length was too short for me. So I just replicated the same thing I did down here. I came down by 2 inches and I slanted. So my armhole, I actually removed. I'm not actually going to be using 1 inch to hold. I'm going to be using 0.5 inch. So my armhole, I actually made it 10 inches instead of 11 inches I wanted to do before. So right now the total length of our dress is actually 22 inches. So for my neckline, I'm actually going to be doing 3 inches for the width of the neckline. So this is the neckline. I'm going to be coming down by 0.5. So we're going to be using the remaining one to hem it. So I'm going to be giving it a round neck like so. So this is what we have for the back of the neck. For the neck, this is the neckline. This is our slanted shoulder, and we are going to be coming in by 0.5 at the middle of this. So at the middle, which is 5 inches, I'm going to be coming in by just a slight 0.5 inch at the middle here, and we are going to be cutting. You can either use your ruler, or you can use your ruler, in fact, to make this very neat. Then use your ruler to connect, just like the way I am doing right now. I hope you guys can actually see what I am doing because of the color of the chalk I'm using. I'm so sorry. Hope you guys understand. So this is how it is. This is 0.5 inward from our shoulder, and this is our slanted line, our neckline, 3 inches in width and 0.5 inches downward. So right now I'm just going to go ahead to cut it out. We're checking our measurements. 8 plus 2 inches allowance plus 1 inch just for ease, for 2 inches ease, and then 1 inch ease at the shoulder, so that our shoulder is not too tight. So I'm just going to be leaving it like this just because I have not ironed this fabric. I don't want to make any mistakes. So right now I'm just going to be checking it like this. we already have enough for it. So guys, we're going to be going right now to indicate what we are going to be needing for our front dress. So my front is actually 22 plus 2 inches is, that is 24. 24 divided by 2, that is 12. Then I'm going to be using probably 1 inch in sole allowance, that is 13. Then for my waist is 7.5 plus 2 inches for ease, is not actually a fitting dress, that is 9.5. Then 1 inch for sewing allowance, that is 10.5. So guys, this is the 2. Then my bust point is 10, but I'm not going to be knitting. I'm just going to be placing the back of my dress on top of the front dress. So that is what I'm going to be using to actually cut the front. So guys, just watch as I do so. So right now, before you cut the front, I'm very sorry that this design is going to be showing on my dress. I don't actually mind. It's actually my dress, but I know I'm running short of fabric, but because I've actually taken out what I'm going to be using for the sleeve, so hence this is what I have, and this is the only way I can be able to cut this dress so that you guys will understand. I can actually do it the other way around and still get what I want, but for you to understand, I really need to do it like this so that it's actually very understandable for you people. So before you do that, just take your fabric and fold it like so that I'm actually going to, because this is the length of my dress, I can actually do it like this and actually get, but it's going to be confusing for you people. So just go ahead, fold your fabric like this, just like I see me do. This is the round part and this is the back of the dress. So I'm just going to be indicating my measurements. So this is the back. The total box I have for the back is actually 13 inches. So what I need for my front is 12 plus 1 inches, that is 13 inches. So guys, I went ahead to drag the dress so that you guys see what I'm trying to explain. You fold your fabric like so, then you place your back of the dress like so. Then this point I indicated right here, sorry, I have to do it again so you guys. So this point I indicated right here is right from the armhole. So I'm needing a total box of 16 inches for my front. So hence I indicated this. So first of all, before we cut the overlap, I am first of all going to go ahead right now to cut the cuts what I have. That is my armhole, my length, and also the neck and the side and the neckline of the front. So guys, let me do like so. Before I cut it, oh my god, before I cut it, so I actually want an extension of 7 inches for my dress. Okay, I have that here, 7 inches. I want that here. So I had to, well, first of all, let me cut it out. I just want to be sure before I go ahead and cut, just because I still don't have light up to now, so I have to be careful while I'm cutting so I do not make a mistake. So I'm just going to be cutting it slightly, or not even at all. Okay, so slightly so that I don't overdo myself here. Cutting our slants here. So sorry guys, I didn't know my camera wasn't recording, but I have gone ahead to slant, but thank God that it's still just the way it is. So guys, just like I explained earlier, so this is actually the back of the dress that we placed, and this is my 3 inches. This is my 3 inches from here to here, 3 inches. Okay, so this is how it is, 3 inches like so. So just like as I was explaining, it all depends on if you want to show cleavage or if you don't want to show cleavage. That depends on how deep this V slant is going to be. So guys, it just depends on how deep you want the V-neck slant to show. Me, I don't even want to show any cleavage at all. So I actually used 7 inches. So I actually came down by 7.5 inches. So I'm going to be using 0.5 to sew the front and the back together. So this is my 3 inches for the front. This is my 3 inches for the front neckline. So I just put this back. I just put this back like so on the front. so I came down by 7 inches and I slanted it like so. Got your normal v-neck. So this is the way I actually did it. So this is what we have for the front. Now for our overlap extension, I actually extended mine by 7 inches. This is our 16 inches that we need for our front back. So this is the 16 inches that we need. So I actually extended mine by 7 inches, but down here we have 8 inches. We have 8 inches, sorry. So it just depends on how big you are at the front, whether you are very busty or if you're not very busty. So after taking out your normal measurements, you extend by, I actually have a detailed way I actually calculate my extensions for overlap, but so guys, I didn't know my camera wasn't recording, and I've actually cut the dress, but I'm going to make an illustration. You guys know me, I'm going to explain very well. So this is how the dress actually looks. So just like I explained earlier, this is our v-neck. This is where our v-neck stop. Then at the waist area, after our extension we had 16 inches total box. We have 16 inches total box. Then I extended by, sorry guys, 16 inches total box, so that you guys know what I'm saying. Then I extended by 7 inches. Then on the waist area here, I came up by 4 inches. Now this 4 inches we came up by is where we are going to be attaching our ropes. The width of our rope is going to be 3.5 inches to 3 inches. So I'm going to be using the remaining one to hem the down part of the dress. So I actually came up by 4 inches. Then from this 4 inches, I marked down to my V. My V is actually 7 inches, which is here. Then I just slanted it and I cut it out. So this is how it is. After cutting it out, this is how yours is supposed to be. Then if you come up like this, this is what you're supposed to have. So this is how our dress is. Okay, so this is actually going to be a design for my dress. Hopefully someone understands that it's a design, but this is the actual way I'm going to do it, so you guys understand. So this is how yours is going to come out after you cut it right now. Okay, now next thing we're going to be doing is to use our bias tape, which I showed you guys earlier, to hem this down part. I actually like using bias. I want the v-neck to be very, very flat on my chest. I'm going to be doing that like so for the other part as well. Then I'm going to cut my armhole again so that it's visible. This is the back of the dress. Sorry, this is the back of the dress. Okay, so this is the back. I'm going to go ahead right now to the sewing machine to sew my V, so it's visible with a bias tape to both sides. Then I'm going to be joining front and back together. So guys, for our sleeve, this is the large round fabric I cut out for my sleeves. So I'm just going to be folding that into two for the both sides of the dress. Then the width of this sleeve is actually going to be, the length of the sleeve is actually going to be 17 inches, and I'm going to sew a gathered stitch round this fabric. So this is 27 inches, so I actually have excess to go around my armhole. So my round armhole is 18 inches. That is 9 times 2, that is 18 inches. So I'm going to be using the remaining excess to gather around my armhole. Then for the down part of the sleeve, I'm actually going to be using a rubber band, just like I showed you guys earlier. So I'm going to be sewing a 0.5 inches close at the down part for the sleeve. Then I'm going to insert my rubber band. So my elbow round is 20 inches divided by 2, that is 10. So I'm going to be dividing my rubber band. I'm going to be minusing 4 inches from my rubber band, so my rubber band is going to be 6 inches. That is what I'm going to be inserting after I sew a hole of 0.75 inches at the down part for my sleeve. So that is what I'm going to be doing. Like I explained earlier, I'm going to be doing a gathered stitch at the top part to attach the sleeve to the bodice. Okay, then after that, I'm going to be cutting out a belt of 3.5 width from this remaining fabric I have right here. So right now I'm going to be doing that on my sewing machine, and I'm going to come back to show you guys how that came out to be. So guys, I've gone ahead to, we have lights now, so I've gone ahead right now to iron the back of our top. So this is the back of the dress and this is the front. So this is the front, so these are overlap. So this is it. I actually try to use a bias tape to bias it, but I don't actually like the outcome, so I don't know if it's my iron or whatever, so I actually just close the side. So you can forget about using a bias for you if you're using a very light fabric. I think the bias is rejecting the fabric or something. Then I just folded it at this particular edge. I even tried again to use the tape. So this is how it come out to be. So this is it. So this is our overlap top. So this is how it is. So right now, so this marking I put right here is going to be where I am going to be joining our shoulders. So I'm going to be joining both of them with 1 inch, 1 inch, so just like as we indicated when we were cutting. So that is it. So when we are cutting, so right now I haven't gone ahead to join the shoulders. So before I join the shoulders, I'm actually going to be showing you guys how we're going to do our sleeves. So guys, at this point I wanted the sleeve to be very full, so I had to shorten the length of the sleeve so I can actually get a very long fabric for the puff to be very full. So that's why you're seeing it this way. So I didn't later make it 17 inches, so now it's now 9 inches long, depending on how puffy that you want it to be, that you want the sleeves to come out to be. So this is the last of the fabric, so I'm not actually using it to do anything else. So I'm just going to use all. So that means the length of our sleeves is going to be 9 inches. So this is already on fold for the both sides. So the total length of this for this puff sleeves is actually 56 inches. So I am just going to cut it right now. Then I'm going to sew a gathered stitch to fit our armhole, which is this. Then I am going to be joining it together with 1 inch. So this is it. Just join together 1 inch. So this is it. So after I gather it, so I'm going to join it to the sleeve area for both sides. So just showing you. So this is for each of the both sleeves. So this is it. Then for our belts, I was actually running off. So your belt can be as long as you want it. So these are just the pieces that I cut out. This is how slant it's going to be. So I'm just going to sew that down. I'm going to be joining this both together. I'm going to be joining this one to this one like so for the belt. Then I'm going to be sewing this as a single belt. So that is what we are going to be using to attach for the overlap, just like we indicated. So the width of this belt is actually 4 inches. So that's what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to go to the sewing machine right now. So our belts, I'm also going to be showing you how the puff sleeves come out to be. Then I'm also going to be enclosing this for our rubber band, just like we stated earlier. I'm going to show you how it come out to be. I've really gone ahead to hem the down part of my top, of my sleeves, in which I'm going to be passing my rubber bands. Now, to get a gather stitch, depending on the kind of machine you use, you should be able to get a gather stitch. You just start at leaving long ropes, which you're going to use to drag it. This one has already hooked, so just the same thing, just like the same way I did it like this. So if you can work with either of the ropes, you can actually run 2 stitches, so in case one becomes stiff, you can actually work with the other. So I've gone ahead to drag it a little bit. But first off, let's go ahead right now to measure to get our measurement for the round sleeves in which we have. So I'm not going to be going, so I'm going to be going in a curved line, like this. So we actually have 24 inches for our round armhole. So I'm going to gather this till we get 24 inches. Okay, so this is it. So we are still far. Let me get what we have here. If you cannot get a beautiful rough stitch like this, to get a gathered rough stitch like this, you can actually use needle and thread. That small needle, use needle and thread. You still get a very beautiful result. Hi guys, so this is our dress. So this is the neckline, this is the back of the dress. So I don't know why I have this here, but we'll just leave it like so. So this is our overlap. I've gone ahead to sew the both sides. So I think this is actually more beautiful. So the belt will be hanging at the left area. So guys, this is our belt. So you can see how beautiful it is. So this is the both belts. So for this extended area, so I'm going to be hemming the down part of my dress. I don't just want this video to be too long, so I'm just going to explain to you how we are going to be doing this. So just like the way you do your waistband, so this is how we are going to be doing sewing in the belt. So to add the belts, I'm just going to be sewing this like so. Then I am going to be doing a top stitch. Then I'm going to fold it and I am going to seam it like this. So this is how it's going to be after I've sewn it. So for our neckline, just like I explained earlier, when you measure it, you see that I still came up with I still have my 7.5 to 7 inches that I left earlier for the measurement. So this is how it came out to be. So you just do yours the way how you want the cleavage to be. So this is how it came out to look like. So this is the belt, this is the two belts. So this is it, this is how it came out to be. Then for my puff sleeves, this is the hole in which I'm going to be passing the rubber band. So my armhole is 10 divided by 2 that is 5. So making 7. So I am going to be cutting out 7-inch rubber band. Then I am going to be passing it round this place. I'm going to use a pin. I'm going to pass it down here. So then after I finish passing it, we have our puff sleeves and I'm going to sew this edge. So right now guys, we're actually almost done with the dress. In fact, almost done, just to fix my belt and to get my puff sleeves on point, and we are officially done with this wrap top. So guys, this is the beautiful dress. Hope you like it, hope you enjoyed it. I would have actually liked the length of the puff sleeves longer, but I actually want the puff to be full because the fabric is a very light fabric. So if the puff isn't full enough, it's not going to be right for this video, as I titled this video wrapped up with puff sleeves. So guys, this is how the beautiful dress came out to be. This is actually a booger skirt. If you want me to make a video on it, let me know. So this is how the dress came out to be, the wrap top with the belts. Hope you guys learned a thing or two. Please subscribe to my channel, like, comment your thoughts, and also share to fellow fashionpreneurs, and I will see you guys on my next video. Thank you guys for always supporting this channel. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers. I cannot believe it. Thank you guys, and show your support to encourage me to continue posting. Bye.